Gran Reseteo with César Vidal and Lorenzo Ramírez.
Very good morning, very good afternoon, very good evening, and above all, very welcome here to César Vidal TV and to this journey that we make every weekend through those stormy waters of geostrategy, geopolitics, and geoeconomics. As always, as a seasoned and experienced pilot in this type of leads, we will have Don Lorenzo Ramírez, which means a solid documentation, a sense of humor hard to beat, and an extraordinary style. Very good evening, Don Lorenzo. Where are we going to move today?
Very good evening, Don César, in this new summer edition of Gran Reseteo, in which we are going to unveil some of the specific strategies used by the intelligence services to put an end to dissident speech, to persecute those who are not willing to conform to the single thinking promoted by those globalist elites. We're going to basically, with our entire audience, and that they use governments, they use supranational institutions, and also crypto groups working within the major Western intelligence agencies for these purposes. We are going to start today's program by looking at a very concrete example. I have it stored there like gold, and in the end, I have taken advantage of this summer to bring it out because I was eager for our friends to see it. It is a concrete example of this type of practice to create false consensus, attacking those who, like us, warn of the risks involved in the dehumanizing agenda, which, in the name of a false democracy, seeks to impose a totalitarian model using technological tools and employing a series of mechanisms to create a false consensus, and employing a series of social engineering mechanisms. And furthermore, we are not going to go very far. We are not going to talk about the CIA in this case, nor the NSA, nor are we going to talk about the Mossad. We are going to talk about the CNI. We are going to give a Spanish example. A project of the CNI, the National Intelligence Center, the Spanish agency, the so-called ELISA Project, which is an instrument dedicated to monitoring those of us who launch messages critical of the globalist agenda, whose main brands today are the Great Reset agenda. We are going to see an exclusive document downloaded from the CNI database. I don't know if at this moment it's still in the CNI database, but I, to prepare the program, have still managed to download it from the CNI database. I suppose that from now on it might not be there. So I recommend you to hurry and search for ELISA on the CNI website. Although we already know that we have friends from the CNI watching this program, we send them a hug, and they know that at the end this document is very real. This is a tool that depends on the Cybersecurity Department of the National Cryptologic Center, which is a body under the Spanish Ministry of Defense, which in theory is the body responsible for guaranteeing the security of the information technology services and also of the communications between the different entities of the public administration, which are in charge in theory and which do not ask the president of the government for his telephone number, as well as the security of the systems that process, store, or transmit information. That store or transmit classified information, top secret information. Spain has an issue with the official secret laws, and it is that all the governments, one after another, what they have done has been to throw more shovels of earth on a regulation that is still practically the same as the one that existed during the Franco regime. Spain has an absolute involution in terms of the law of secrets. That is why nothing is declassified. There is no period in which one can know that one can make certain information of a moment in history. On the contrary, in the United States, we know that documents are declassified periodically. That's why
sometimes the declassification is delayed, but it is something very exceptional. That is to say, here you really know that at a certain moment it is declassified, you have access to it, and then you remember the president's mother or the mother of a senator when you find out what is there. But it is true that except for very exceptional things, the documents are declassified. The same thing happens in Great Britain. So, of course, what is emerging also from the British diplomacy is to shudder, but indeed at a certain moment when it can no longer affect national security, citizens have access to what happened in the most logical way in the world. In Spain, there is no way.
In Spain, there is no way. It is true that many times that declassified information has many parts hidden, crossed out. Obviously, there have been declassifications in which there is practically no information, and they are all crossed out, it is true. But in Spain, it is tremendous. And there are even complaints from personalities and people from the top of the National Intelligence Center itself who want to democratize this body, and above all to say, hey, we are secret agents, 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 we are secret agents. Listen, we are secret agents. We are an intelligence service. They like to call themselves intelligence agents. Obviously, we are an information service. We have to be protected by law as long as those official secrets can guarantee some kind of stability in the country. If 20, 30, 40 years have passed, another question would be, if there are not certain elements that happened several decades ago that could affect the national security of the country at this time.
Of course, think about 40 years ago. 40 years ago. And if we go even further back, I don't even mention it. But of course, 40 years ago. We would have a series of very thorny episodes: the assassination of Carrero Blanco, the transition, the creation of the Socialist Party, the fall of Suarez, the 23F. Of course, all of a sudden this starts to come to light, and people who find out about it can say, hey, you have been deceiving me for almost 50 years.
That wants him. The one sim, that is already later, but it has already happened.
XM
20 years have
is
passed.
already
20
later.
years have passed. 20 years have passed. 20 years have passed. Yes, 20 years
the
have passed.
XIM would surely remain declassified in another country 10, 20, 30 years more. But therefore, you and I will surely not see the documents. But you possibly, I almost certainly not. But in any case, the other issues are very important. That is to say, the assassination of Carrero Blanco, the fall of Suarez, the creation of the Socialist Party, the entry into NATO. That is to say, the entry into the European Union. There are a series of issues that are enormously important to understand what is happening in Spain right now, and this is being kept from the citizens.
Yes, because there are some authors who, through interviews and research work, have focused on it. We have mentioned it, but it is not the same as having certain official documents, although we do have some official documents, but not because they have been declassified, but because someone has had access to them precisely, because someone violating the law of official secrets has brought them to the attention of a researcher. The National Cryptologic Center is a body that was created in the year of the CNI, precisely in the year of the Spanish intelligence service CNI, which is who actually controls it. If you go to the CNI website, you can see there how it states that this cryptological center works on national cybersecurity, because they say, and I quote, that there are cyber threats that can threaten national security, the rule of law, economic prosperity, and the normal functioning of society. All this seems obvious. There is no problem here.
All this is obvious. There is no denying it.
However, when one dives into this ELISA tool, one realizes that the real objective is not to protect society, not even the state, nor those who represent that state, but rather to wipe out anyone who challenges the status quo, the very essence of a system that can only work if it is crushed, that can only work if dissidents are crushed. Some will say, that's it, Lorenzo has gone too far, he is exaggerating. You will see that this diagnosis is quite accurate. We are going to show an official presentation. The images that you are going to see from now on are from an official presentation from the National Cryptologic Center itself on ELISA. It is a PowerPoint, a document that must have served as a basis for some kind of presentation in a meeting. We do not know. A document that I was told by an intelligence source that was posted on the CNI website. Otherwise, I would not have believed it was from the CNI, because it is so obvious and so crude in many elements. It is obvious that it is prepared so that the public does not have access to it, and that is precisely why I wanted to bring it here. This has been available, as I say, on the web page as a work report, as a presentation, and there is a diagnosis of the first 5 months of operation. It was set up in April 1920. What was happening in April 1920? Confinements, wasn't it? It was when Pedro Sanchez went out there every week. This date coincides with the beginning of COVIDian confinements, something that is no coincidence, since its startup had a lot to do with that wave of global censorship that we have already analyzed in depth in previous programs. We have talked about this ad nauseum. But I wanted you to see the example, the proof of something that we suspected and that we have denounced, but that existed. Are you watching the front page right now? It is that really, the first time I saw it, I was amazed. ELISA Digital Observatory, they say, Laboratory for the Analysis of Disinformation. In parentheses, anti-globalism.